How's it going, everybody? My name is Iron Pacifist, and welcome back to another episode of the Level 3 Ironman Progress Series, and I'm standing in a bad spot. My bad. This is a series where we are on our road to max a Level 3 Ironman. As you can see by the stats, we are very close. We have 3 skills left, so if you're not caught up on the series, check out my other episodes. And if you are caught up, let's get into what we're going to be doing. Next skill on the master plan is going to be smithing. Smithing we're going to do next because we're going to get some dart tips, which will help inject into fletching. It won't give us all of what we need for 99 fletching, but it'll help us out so we don't have to buy as many broad arrows and waste as much of our blood rune stack. So smithing is going to be a few different stages. First stage, I want to smelt all of this ore into bars. All the myth, all the yaddy, all the rune. Do I need to do that for 99 smithing? No, definitely not. Do I want to? Yes, because it will give me the most dart tips, which will mean I have to sell the least blood runes. Is it the most efficient? Definitely not. No. But again, it lets me sell the least amount of blood runes, and I like my collections. I like collecting these items. I, early on in the account, sold a lot of valuable items to the general store to pay for a crafting grind, and I really regret that. So I want to sell as little as possible going into this. So the first thing I got to do is get a lot of coal. I've made a plan of how much we're going to need to buy. So let's go take a look at that in a second. But first, we're going to go over what we're going to do is after we buy the coal, we're going to go to blast furnace, smelt all the ores into bars, and then we're going to go to Giant's Foundry. And Giant's Foundry will give us way more than we need in terms of XP. So we are going to do a little bit of Giant's Foundry and a little bit of smithing. Let's get into some numbers. So here's the smithing grind in some numbers. We won't spend a lot of time here, but in short, I've put how much we have of each ore, which means that we're going to need 80,000 coal minus the 20k we have means we have to buy 60k coal, which will cost us about 4 mil, and we have 3.978 mil in the bank. So I'm going to have to go get 34,000 GP real quick. That'll be an easy one. I think I can handle that. After that, we're going to blast everything in bars. I would love to take all of these bars and just go to dart tips, but if I did that, we would only get 3 million XP in smithing. And if we look, that would only give us about 8.5 mil total XP in smithing, which is just simply not enough. So what we're going to have to do is do a mix of Giant's Foundry and smithing. But if we did all Giant's Foundry, we would get 32 million smithing XP, which I don't need. I don't need that much smithing XP. So we're going to do Giant's Foundry until we are at a point where if we take a look at the banked XP plugin, I'm going to keep checking this regularly and just looking at saying, if I were to do these out of products, would that get me 99? Right now, that would only get me level 94. I'm going to keep refreshing this. I'm going to be doing Giant's Foundry and, every few hours, whatever I feel like, I'm going to refresh this. And as soon as this number says 99, we're going to switch off Giant's Foundry and we're going to process the rest of the bars at a regular anvil to make dart tips for spletching. Spletching? That's a real skill. Look it up. So that's the plan. Step 1 is to make 34 KGP. That one might take a few hundred hours. And then after that, we're going to get into some coal buying, which may actually take not actually a few hundred hours, but it will take longer than I want it to, and it's not going to be fun. So let's get going on that one. All right, we're hanging out with the boy Ali. 35k is the goal. 10, 20, 30, 40. All right, we did that. Good. Grind over. Thank you guys for coming. All right, over at the blast furnace, this is where I'm going to live for, I actually don't know how much coal I get per hour yet. We're going to figure that out right off the top. We're going to do an hour of hardcore and see how many we get. Maybe not the first hour, but at some point I'll do that. But this is the setup. I mean, very simple setup, just max weight reduction. I took off my Incamdo hammer because it's 2 kilograms, and although I am negative 14 right now, as soon as I load up on coal, we're going to be pretty full. So if you've never bought coal before, like any good Iron Man, it's pretty straightforward. We buy the coal, fill the coal bag, open, buy the coal, run back to the bank, deposit, and repeat. That's about it. We're going to be doing that for these. I'm going to set the left click on this to that, and there we go. I'm going to do a whole lot of that. Stamps on standby. Let's get going. So with this purchase of 10 coal, that is going to put us at our goal. We are now dirt poor. That is the entire cash stack, 5.7k. But let's take a look at what we got on this. So we're going to go and throw in to the price checker. Let's go over to the price checker. So we did spend 4 mil, but I'm pretty sure we profited on this. And let's take out, we had 20,189 coal to start. So 9.7 mil, and we put in 4 mil. So more than doubled our money, which is pretty nice. But if we throw in everything, we are going to be going in with 43.6 mil worth of ore into the blast furnace. So we'll do a profit or loss afterwards and see if we made any money on turning these into bars. But I'm going to get going on that. But first, I need money to run the blast furnace. I estimate I'll need about 1 mil, so we're going to go ahead and sell some more blood runes to Ali. Now, it may seem like we're spending a lot of money here. We're going to spend a total of about 5 mil to get these bars, but when we take these to Giant's Foundry, we're going to make so much money out of them in Giant's Foundry. Now, we'll still lose money. We just showed that that was 43 mil worth of ore, and then if we add in the 5 mil that we're going to spend in cash, that's 48 mil. I reckon we'll get about 30 mil of GP if we did everything at Giant's Foundry. So we would lose on bank value, but we would gain on, I'm just going to sell up to 1 mil. We would gain on GP. We would effectively be able to sell our ore for raw GP at about 75% of GE value, which is not bad at all. But I'm not going to do that. I am going to instead only use, I think, about 10 mil GP worth at Giant's Foundry, sorry. And the rest of it, I'm going to use at just regular anvils just to get me a little bit more fletching XP. Technically not the most macro efficient, that I would get more smithing XP and more GP for the account if I would do all Giant's Foundry. But fletching is just such a pain in the ass, and it's going to be such a bank value drain that I just want to get as much of a boost as I can out of the bars and logs that I already have. I just don't want to waste them if I can convert them to fletching XP, so that's what I'm going to do. So without further ado, I'm going to drop 1 mil into this blast furnace coffer, and I'm going to start making all these bars, starting at mithril and working my way up. See you guys once we're done, and we'll do a profit or loss. With this next deposit of some mithril ore onto the belt, just in time for the belt to get lag, that is going to be our first level on this grind, 91 smithing. Excellent. You can see I'm rocking the spottier cape and boots of lightness. I never did a fit check, but I do run spottier cape and boots of lightness because they are technically best in slot at blast furnace. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. See you at the next level. And this will be our last inventory of the mithril ore. Collect these last, what was it, 9 bars? And that will be all of the mithril done. Time to move on to some addy. So after finishing the mithril, that's about halfway through this grind in terms of number of laps to and from the bank. We have to do about 114,000 total ores, and that was about 57,000, almost halfway. So I wanted to share the method that I've been using because it's a little interesting, I think, and not necessarily the standard, so we'll show off a little bit of it here. Oh, I think I have my left click set up wrong. First of all, left click to empty on the coal bag, and then in the bank, set the left click to fill. Then you withdraw and fill, and then move on much quicker. Also set, you can also do this on mobile. Although I find when you turn on memory entry swapper in mobile, it doesn't work unless you set the deposit quantity to 1. If you set the deposit quantity to anything other than 1, it won't let you set the use option as the default on the coal bag. So you set it to 1, but then you can menu entry swap the coal to be deposit all left click or single tap as it is on mobile. So what I'm doing right now is preloading the furnace. You can see I'm not on a blast furnace world, which means my money isn't ticking down. I hate watching my money tick down. It gives me anxiety. So I'm preloading the furnace with as much coal as I can without it going in. So my blast furnace money is not being charged right now. And then we're going to get an inventory of addy and coal, and I'm going to load this up as well. The total cycle for mithril bars, if you do this, you can load up to 4 full inventories of coal. So that's 216 coal, and then you can also do an inventory of ore and 1 more inventory of coal. And then you can also get ready for the next inventory. So the total, if you do it this way, is 12 back and forth trips for mithril and 6 back and forth trips. Did I get that right? No, 8 back and forth trips for addy. So, and this allows you to do 5.5 back and forth trips. Now here, you do have to be quick. If you put on the addy and you smelt into bars before you put on the coal, then it will mess up. You also have to move your bank every time. It will mess up and it won't let you put the coal on. So you have to be kind of quick here. When you put on the addy, you have to put on the coal before it smelts. Otherwise, it won't let you. And we do 3 cycles here, and then I can hop back over to the non-blast furnace world after I'm done and I feel like I want to. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I just kind of depends on how I'm feeling about my anxiety about the money. But I'm going to keep doing this. You can see we're about halfway, and we're less than halfway through our money, which is good. I was worried that we might run out, but it doesn't look like we're going to. So I'm going to keep on going, and I'll see you guys at the next level. And coming in here with 92 smithing, we can now make rune full helms. Huge for the account. Well, with this deposit, that's going to be the last of our ore going into the blast furnace. As I do this collection, this will be the last collection we need to do for 99 smithing. Let's go hop to a non-blast furnace world and go over our stacks. Well, as a reminder, here's what we started with, GE value 43.6 mil. And here is what we are ending with, GE value of 41.54 and change mil. So that's almost an 11 mil profit just about, which is pretty sweet on this grind. Again, that does make our loss even higher as we take this to Giant's Foundry or to smithing at the anvil. And we have 240k left in the coffer. We started with a mil, so we spent about 760k. Although it was actually slightly less than that. It was 740k because I had to take 20k out after the blast furnace deleted about 200 of my coal. So I had to take that out to rebuy about 216 coal that the blast furnace deleted because I was using the hot method. But that's okay. We're going to teleport over to Giant's Foundry and go over the next step of the smithing grind. Over at the Foundry now, all set up. I am going to be starting with the Addy rune, even though I normally like to start with the longer grinds, or I like to start with the lower XP grinds first. But I know I want to use all the rune here. I'll just get way more value for it, so I'm going to start with those. For clog, we are starting with a green log here. I did an 80 to 90 grind already at Giant's Foundry and did complete the clog and also completed all of the mold purchases. So we are not expecting to get any new items. We'll just get a whole lot of points, which honestly I'll probably just end up saving and not spending a whole lot of right now. But I'm going to get going on the Foundry, and I'll see you at the next level. Now we should really start getting that XP come in. Been here for not too long, just getting used to it, back into the rhythm again. But I just wanted to show, if we look at the sidebar, this is what we are deciding when we're going to leave Giant's Foundry based on. So right now it says we're going to get to 94 if we went to a regular anvil, so we are going to stay here until that number says 99. Whenever that is, we'll switch over. So till then, I'm going to do a whole bunch of Giant's Foundry. Coming in with our next smithing level 93. Chasing Plate Buddies 5. I guess we could do that. Back to work. And as we deposit this sword, get through the dialogue, that's going to be 94 smithing. Rune Warhammers. More useless. As I turn in this sword, that is going to put us at 95 smithing on the level 3 Ironman. Fantastic. We're looking good. And this next sword is also going to be the last of the rune. Done with the rune, it is time to move on to the Addy myth. And if we take a look at the sidebar, we also see that we're currently going to get up to 96.5 or so. So we're going to keep doing a bit more at Foundry. I'll see you at the next level. And as we approach Kovac once again, this is 96 smithing. There we go. Long dialogue. Rune chain bodies. And this time, we're going to get another level with Kovac for 97 smithing. Rune kite shields. Big back in the day. Not so much anymore. And we've just turned in another sword, although this is not a level. If we look at the sidebar, what we'll see when we hit refresh is that we now have enough bars to reach level 99 through regular anvil smithing. We officially can leave the Giant's Foundry at this point. However, I've decided we're so close to 98, I'm just going to stay here until 98, do the last 10%, and then save some bars for some post-max, which will give us some extra ranks. And this sword is going to be the last sword I make at Giant's Foundry. Would I like another commission? No, I would not. 98 smithing on the level 3 Ironman. Damn, that looks good. 45,000 Giant's Foundry points, which we will not spend. I'm going to save those points for post-max. So for now, I'm going to grab a hammer and head over to the Varrock Anvil. We're going to go myth all the way to Addy, then to Rune, and I will see you guys as we have some progress over there. Almost forgot to do the profit and loss on this. Here is what we started with. We started with about 54 mil worth of bars, and we now have about 40 mil worth. We did make 10 mil in raw cash, which is awesome. The cash stack was basically 0 before, so having a green cash stack again is nice. We did lose about 14 mil in total, but that is not too bad for that much smithing XP. I could do the GP per XP, but okay, as I'm smithing these bars, I did do the math. It was about 2.2 GP per XP to get from all of that I did at Foundry from 91 to 98. And we're probably going to lose most of what's left doing these dart tips. Dart tips is probably going to be a lot more expensive than that. So I'll see you when I guess we're done with the myth bars and we're moving on to the Addy. And this is going to be the last of our mithril bars. They got us about 2/3 of the way till 99, which is pretty sweet. Let's move on to some Addy bars. And finally, here's the big one with this dart that is going to put us at level 99 smithing on the level 3 Ironman. Oh, that looks good. 2 skills left to max. Can you believe that? I certainly can't. I did not think I was going to get this far when I started this account. So I'm going to finish these rest of these Addy bars. We're going to go for some ranks, and then I'll check in with you guys on profit and loss once we're done. I am so happy. Well, I totally missed recording the last of the Addy bars, but here we have our 5 rune bars. Might as well just use these up. And this will be it, the end of the smithing grind. I've been at this for, I think, a couple of months now. So we'll be ending with an ending XP of 13.1 million. And let's go take a look at the profit loss, total XP gained, and our ranks after all of this grind. And here is what we started with going into smithing darts, and here is what we finished with. So we actually profited there about 4 mil. So that's pretty nice on this grind. Not bad at all, except we're going to lose all of that after we add feathers to these in the fletching episode. And taking a look at our temple page, here's our XP gain over the last, it's been almost exactly a 2-month grind here from February to April. Pretty steady gains, and then I was on vacation for some time, and other than that, pretty steady gains. But if we look at my ranks, this is why I did that. I did like an hour and a half of post-max, and look at this. We went from rank 12.7k up to rank 9.9k in the top 10. Top 10k for ranks just by doing an hour and a half of post-max. That's fun. And then if we take a look over at the records table, nothing crazy over here, but 1 6-hour near the beginning when I got 45k XP on, and my best week was 1.3 mil for rank 19. Nothing really impressive there. They just happen to be high ranks because not many people play this game mode. But I think that is going to do it for this episode, the smithing episode. We got another 99 under our belt and just 2 skills left. So make sure you're subscribed. There's only 2 episodes left in this series. Fletching will be the next episode. We're going to do a lot of different methods for that. And then we'll have to say goodbye and figure out what's next. Until then.